So today we're going to analyze QuantumScape Corporation, which is an auto parts company. And the only reason I know that is because I'm looking at FinViz. We're going to look at FinViz and then we're going to look at some charts. This is February the 18th, 2021. First thing you notice about this company is that almost half of its stock is owned by insiders. But they haven't been doing any buying or selling as of late. Institutions own less than 11% of the stock. So it hasn't attracted the attention of the big buyers out there. So that's an opportunity. When the big buyers do take a look at this stock, they can drive the price up substantially. You see a stock that's like Apple that's owned, majority is owned by institutions. It's those institutions that are going to have to drive growth by buying more shares, but it's unlikely that they will. So you worry about stocks that are too heavily institution owned. It has a 6% short float. So 6% of the outstanding shares are short. But remember, insiders own half of the shares. So this is like a 12% short float because it's 6% on the remaining 50% that's not owned by insiders. So that's 12%. So there's a stock that could be subject to being driven up in a short squeeze. Let's take a look at TipRanks and let's see what TipRanks has to say about QS. Let's just look here, QS. And there's only 3 analysts that follow it, so it's not heavily watched. 1 buy, 1 hold, and 1 sell. The interesting one is Goldman Sachs, who just yesterday reiterated a hold on the stock, but they think that the price could be going to 48. Morgan Stanley 7 days ago initiated with a buy. They see the price going at 70. And then 3 months ago, Bernstein was telling people to sell the stock. Probably not a good call looking at the chart. Let's look at insiders. Not a lot of insider information available through TipRanks, so that doesn't help us very much. We could look at the news, but I presume if you're interested in this stock, you're already looking at the news. Let's now look at the chart. So there's QuantumScape. Had this big, huge run up in November of 2020. So 3 months ago, the Bernstein analyst was saying sell the stock. Well, he was wrong, because what happened in those 3 months is that the stock virtually went from $15 to $130. Now you've got to look at the news and try to find out why it pulled back. But if you're looking strictly at harmonics, you notice if you draw this Fibonacci, price today was rejected at exactly 50%. Sellers tend to put stop orders on at these major Fibonacci points. You also had this big gap here on December the 31st. It's unusual that you would have a big gap going into the first trading day of the year, so I'd want to go back and look at the news and find out why. Gaps are notoriously hard to fill, and it's been rebuffed once, twice, moved down, tried to move into the gap yesterday, and today was kicked out of the gap. So it's going to take a while for the stock to fill the gap. The momentum, however, appears to be favorable. Today was a down day in the market, so it had a down day. Yesterday was a down day in the market, and Quantum stock had a pretty good day. Had a range trading of $13 on 49 million shares. Not bad. Now back here, we had a very large day, and we had also 49 million volume there. And let's just take a look at volume. And volume has picked up. So 3 of the last 4 days, there's unusual buying activity. So that's a very good sign. We saw some back here. Stock moved up into the gap. That was right after this big sale. We saw some bargain buyers coming in. So this actually looks like a good stock that currently has some momentum. Let's look at one other thing. Let's look at the RSI bars. These are bars that show the stock's relative movement versus the overall market. And today was a green day, meaning it was more active than the market. It outperformed the market. Down day in the market, stock did go down, but it also had a point in the day where it went up. So anyways, it earns a green bar, and you can see green bars have been part of the left-hand side of this parabolic move here. So whenever you see a large parabolic move like that, you want to dig into the news and find out what happened, and is it likely to happen again, or could the opposite happen, and the company actually recovers those crazy all-time highs. Let's look at the Ichimoku lastly, and that shows us that the stock tipped the bottom of the cloud and was rejected. So this is a stock that appears to be sensitive to the Ichimoku. The Chiku span back here was stopped yesterday. If we put this green line right on yesterday's high, let's do that here. Let's put that green line, and you can see that yesterday we got rejection on the 8 EMA, which is this green line here. So you want to watch the Chiku span, which is above the candles, but below the 8 EMA, so it's got to break through that. And then price has to break through the cloud. As we move along here, resistance to moving up is actually decreasing because the cloud is getting thinner and even thinner here. So this is an area where if the stock is going to make a move, it's going to make its move right in here, where the resistance is the least. If we can't break through resistance here, and it starts to pull back and follow the bottom of this cloud, then you want to get out of that stock trade.